away from here for the second session, we're going to visit with you about the trip at the beginning of the second session, rather than the beginning of the first session. Because I always make it a habit of going to the deep end and jumping in. Okay, so so we want you to join us on the deep end of the pool, and we're just going to jump in and learn some stuff, and then when you're all exhausted at the end of the first break, then we'll visit a little bit about the trip, and then do some easier stuff at the end of the day. So that's kind of how the day is going to go. When you are the hardest part on your part, well, the hardest part as far as telling the stories are concerned, are the epistles. And we're going to be, like I'll share at the beginning of the next period, I will explain that more then about why we're doing that. But just to say this, that the epistles that we're doing are the ones that were written during the time frame of the book of Acts, except for Ephesians, and we're doing it because we're going to be in Ephesus, and so Roger's been working on that. But other than that, the rest of the epistles, except for Philemon, are all written during the time of the Acts, and this is going to give you even a better picture of what's happening. So when you're talking about that, how many of you have chosen an epistle, a part of an epistle? Raise your hand. One.
I didn't choose
Okay.
it. It was given to me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay, good. So that's three of you who didn't, but you're in luck. We're going to assign you one just for this session, so that you can still be a part of the learning process of how to learn one, even though you won't end up telling it over there. And so we're going to. Does this have where I can see the next frame that's coming up? Or okay, no, that's right. So just see what it is.
Focus on the slide.
Yeah. The first session will be from right now until 10:30, and then we'll have a break. So learning the epistles, when you are, you have two options of how. Actually, there's three options, but we're going to deal with two of them here. The first option, which is not as easy as what it's going to seem, but the first option is simply read it. You have the paper copy, and you simply read it, and that'll be acceptable. You can do that with what we're going to tell you. So there is a procedure of getting ready for reading it, and the general principle is this. You need to understand. The general principle is the audience will accept poor telling. If you don't do a very good job telling your story, it's okay. People will accept it. They're a part of the team. They've been there. They've done that. They will still pull into your story, even if you're not doing a very good job at it. They will listen to the story, and afterwards they will applaud, and they will tell you what a good job you did, even though you know good and well you didn't do a very good job. It's okay. They will not enjoy a poor reading. There's just a big difference between telling the story and reading it. If you do a poor job of reading it, I can tell you this, the audience will be bored. On top of that, their mind will wander, they'll drift. And the worst thing of all, you will feel bad. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Reading the story is an option, but understand this, you've got to prepare for reading it more than telling it. It's just the way it is. And so, so I'm going to show you how to prepare for reading it. Now, don't get shocked. Read it 40 plus times before you go. I know. I'll show you how to do this, but you need to read that thing until it's almost memorized, because then you'll do a good job and people will be engaged. They will be pulled in. They won't get bored. Their mind won't drift. They'll be right with you as long. We've all heard good readers sometime in our lives, and you know, I mean, you've heard the Bible being read. Well, the Bible being read by a poor reader is worthless, just about. But a Bible being read by a professional is captivating. It's just great. So 40 times. Now there's a couple of examples. You can figure out your own way of doing this. But one example is read it over 4 weeks. And if you do this, you can take whatever 4 weeks you want before the trip. I think the last 4 weeks before the last 4 weeks of the trip, I think starts at the end of September, the last full week of September. So there's 4 weeks right there. You can start it next week. So if you come in, right? And so what you do, if you're going to do this method right here, is read the story. Simply read it twice a day. Seems simple enough. Over for only 5 days a week. So that's 10 times. Read it twice a day, 5 days a week, 10 times, but 9 times out loud to yourself, once to somebody else. Now, I'm going to talk about that someone else, but that's important, to read it to someone else. To be prepared, you can't just have read it to yourself, because, well, the simple fact is this: adrenaline's not involved. Adrenaline is so important. It helps you do a better job. But if you're not prepared for it, it'll throw you off. When that adrenaline hits you, when you're up in front of a crowd, I mean, if you haven't done it in front, this is the same with your story. That's why we say, tell your story 5 times to somebody, because you have to have that adrenaline. Not much. I mean, it's just with one person, you know, it's not like you're in front of 1,000 people, you know. I mean, adrenaline's really heavy then, but even in front of one person, you have a little bit of adrenaline. It's like you tasting it. You say, okay, well, that didn't taste bad. And you kind of get used to it. So that when you get to Turkey or Greece and that adrenaline hits you, it won't throw you off. Does that make sense? Sure. Believe me, I have been on both sides of this. I've had times when I've practiced something and I haven't done it in front of somebody, and I stand up and immediately I said, oh man, I messed up again. You know, you've got to experience that. So you read it 9 times during the week, but sometime at the end of that, near the end of the week, you read it to somebody, a different person each time. Each week is a different person. So you're talking about 4 different people hearing you read this. Now, at the end of the 4 weeks, you read it to one more person, and that gives you your 5 times. By that time, it should be a really good reading. Okay, and you should, you know, that 5th person is really going to be blessed, you know, because you know, it's really good. Now, the second example for reading it and preparing it is read it over 12 weeks. Well, that's kind of nice, because 12 weeks starts next Monday. You've got 12 weeks, so you can simply read it 4 times a week. You say, well, actually, if you read it 4 times a week times 12, that's more than 40 times. Well, it does say 40 plus. And after all, you're talking 4 times during a week. Originally, I put it on there where it's 3 and 4 over a 2-week period. You read it 3 weeks, 1 week, 3 times 1 week and 4 times the next week. My wife looked at it and said, that's confusing. Just say 4 times and if you want to only read it 3 times for one of those weeks, that's fine. You know, and again, then read it to somebody every 2 weeks. And so again, it's 12 weeks and again, a different person each week. Okay, does this make sense? Are you with?
Can we listen to it on our Bible read?
Well, you can definitely listen to it, but you need to yourself read it. It has to be your voice. And with that, there are some simple rules. And I'm glad you asked the question because it goes right along with it. You have to read it out loud, not read it to yourself, because you're going to be doing it over there out loud. And there's a difference between reading it quietly and reading it out loud. Read it slowly. You can't rush through your 4 times or rush through your 9 times. Read it slowly, because that's what you want to do over there. If you practice it fast, that's what you're going to do. I mean, no matter how much a resolve you have that you will read it slowly once you get there, I tell you, it just won't happen. Especially if you've done it 40 times real fast, that's how you're going to do it. It's in there. And then exaggerate your enunciation. You say, oh man, I don't know if I want to do that. I mean, isn't that going to sound silly? Well, the interesting thing, you will think it's exaggerated. Everyone else thinks that you're reading it normally. If you read it like you normally read, you'll slur. You won't pronounce your words correctly. You won't have time for the facial expressions and all those things. You see, reading it one like to read it to your child is different than reading it to a bunch of adults on a bus or at a site with the wind blowing and all the distractions. And if you slur your words and get talking like this right here, and they just won't hear it. You've got to enunciate your words. You see, right now I feel like I'm over enunciating everything I'm saying, but you don't think I am. You think I'm just talking normal, but you don't. I'm not talking like Jan and I talk when we're talking by ourselves. It's a different animal. Yeah, see. So over exaggerate while you're practicing it. By the way, that will help you in getting the story in your mind. Matter of fact, what I often do when I'm learning a story, I will over exaggerate everything. I am what you're, and part of that is I'm what you are. What I mean, my learning problems in life is I'm a large muscle kinesthetic learner. Mouthful. What that means is I learn best in a classroom if I'm walking around the room swinging my arms and legs a lot. Don't you know that went over well in school? You know, and I sit down and learn. Well, it was only later on when I got married that Jan was teaching me what the teacher was trying to teach me, and I could walk around the room and swing my arms and legs. So when I'm learning a story, I'm actually out there doing things like this, and because that helps it get in there. I'm using my hands and I'm walking around the room and I'm swinging around. And you might find that as you're reading your story, you might want to do some of that. It's not on the list. You don't have to do it. Just pass that on to get this thing in your mind, to get your hands and your muscles involved. Any questions about learning how to read the story when you're over there?
The reading you're talking about is not going back to the scripture itself, but the crafted story.
It's yes, thank you. It's the crafted story. And make sure that and Kim, can I use you as an illustration here?
Sure. I'm known for
Kim,
messing
chose
things
an
up.
epistle.
I
Yeah,
didn't
there we
choose
go.
it. I was nice enough to say, give
She
me
chose
the one.
one of the Romans.
I said, give me the ones you want, and I end up with two epistles that are real long. So,
I think one of them is Romans, right?
one of them is
And-
the life and death of Christ. One's church fights, and the other one is life with or without Christ, with and without Christ. Church fights is epistles,
Well,
right?
she thought, yeah, church fights like for First Corinthians. She thought she had to do the whole, and so she was working on that. She was working on the whole epistle, which we have broken up into, I think, 3 parts.
Four
There's
parts.
3 different people going to do 4 parts.
I think it's four
Yeah,
parts.
so we broke, well, 3 or 4. We have, so we actually have 3 or 4 people going to do First Corinthians. She was learning the whole thing, not written,
And I
because
was-
she knew, okay, here it is. She went to all stories of the Bible and pulled the story out of that. Well, that's the whole thing. Where Roger sent you the stories you're going to tell broken down to the section. So make sure you're not making the same mistakes. And we want to thank Kim for making that mistake, so that will help us help everybody else. Make sure it's what you have, and then that's the portion. And
I
so
will
if you
say-
want to read it,
I will say I was in quite a panic because I'm not good with memory. So I was very panicked. It was so long. But
right,
now I'm delighted that it's a fourth or third short or whatever it is.
yes, and also the fact that you can read it.
I
If
know.
you are, if you have prepared it to be being read, you can read it. Now, I'm hoping you don't choose that option. I'm hoping you'll choose one of the other 2. So I'll give you the second, the only other object that the only option, and we're going to practice option 2. Option 2. Oh, and also, by the way, you read it in first person, like it's like I have crafted it. Yeah, so you have to read it as if Paul is dictating it, which, by the way, he did. Paul didn't write those epistles. He dictated them. Someone else wrote it. He had an eyesight problem. He had a signature. He had a signature in all of his epistles, because other people were writing epistles and saying that they were Paul. So he had to put his signature in there. And his signature was, he took one little section with his own pen and he wrote it himself. That's why in one of the epistles, he says, see what large letters I'm writing to you. He's not talking about the book of Romans being a large letter. No, he's talking about each letter being really large. That was his signature. He would write one little piece of it himself. And if that wasn't in the epistle, he didn't write it. And so he dictated it. And that's how we want it to come across. We want it to sound like you are the Apostle Paul, and you're dictating it to the church of wherever. Any questions so far about these rules? Well, option number 2. Option 2, tell it with notes. And that's what we're going to deal with. Now, the third option is to learn it without notes. But learning it with notes is a good way to go. In other words, you are basically telling it, but you've got a cheat sheet. You got a little cheat sheet, just a little outline that's just right there that'll help you remember and get through the whole thing. And so we're actually going to do that. So I'm if I could get five of you to read one of those little sections. The first thing the first step you do is you divide the material into smaller sections. I have selected the Galatians 1. This is part 1 of 3. We've divided Galatians into 3 parts. I've taken, this is not my story. I won't be telling this. I've chosen one of the ones of someone who is not going to be here. Hopefully they're watching this on the recording. So this is my gift to them, that I've actually done this for them right here. So I have divided theirs into 5 sections. And I'd like to have 5 of you, one for each section, and just simply read it out loud to us. We'll do the first section.
I have a question first.
Yes.
When you did this for Bible telling on video that we watch a week every day, did you have notes for that, or did you just have to consume and memorize the whole,
You mean my audio recordings?
well, and visual recording?
I was reading it. The audio recordings was totally, I was reading a script.
Or the epistle.
No. When he's talking about the weekly 5-minute audio, the little audio thing that comes out on Tuesday.
You're talking about the daily thing.
He's talking about the BT Stories recording.
When we have you, you've got your hat on and you got your.
Oh, no, the film. Oh, no, I was not reading those.
You memorize.
I didn't memorize it. I simply learned it. Yeah.
Did you have to break up the videotape so you could?
No, actually, there is no editing at all, which is interesting. That's just my choice. I know how to edit and I know how to make it look good, but I chose, so when I'm telling the story, and if I make a mistake, I stop, I start over again. So when you're seeing me, I have probably stood there and told that story about 5 or 6 times. And I'm only taking the 6th time. And I just delete all the rest. So it's so funny because when I'm nearing the end, and I know I'm nearing the end, I thought, come on, John, you can do you want to got just a couple more sentences. I said it where I messed up on the last word, and I'm such a perfectionist, I'll just redo the whole thing. I don't even think about it. I don't kick myself. I just start over. No, those are tough. So I have to learn those stories before I turn on the camera.
You spent some time either option 1 or option 2, or maybe the 3rd option.
Oh, no, because those are not epistles. Those are stories.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So this is the option 1, option 2 is only for the epistles.
All right.
So who'll read the first section?
I will. Go ahead.
Yes.
I'm shocked that you turned away from the grace of God. These false teachers told you that you must keep Jewish law to be completely saved, and you believed them. How can you be so foolish as to accept this other gospel?
Section 2.
I gave you the pure gospel of Christ. So even if an angel from heaven comes and tells you something different, that angel is cursed. Yes, you heard me right. Let me be perfectly clear. Anyone who preaches this heresy is cursed.
Section 3.
Believe me, I understand what they're teaching. I loved Jewish tradition so much that I tried to destroy the churches of God. But Christ saved me and called me to preach the gospel to Gentiles. He personally instructed me for 3 years in Arabia.
Section.
Now listen. Those same false teachers came to Antioch and tried to enslave our believers. I didn't tolerate it for one moment. Absolutely not. The church finally sent Barnabas and me to Jerusalem to bring this issue before the apostles. They saw that God called me to the Gentiles. In the same way, Peter was called to the Jews.
Last section.
Peter and I had already discussed this very issue. He came to Antioch and ate freely with Gentiles. When some Jews came from Jerusalem, he immediately separated himself from his Gentile brothers. Other Jews joined him in this. Even Barnabas was pulled into this hypocrisy. I told Peter in front of everyone that this wasn't right.
This is section 1. So there's 3 sections. So this is just section 1. And I've chosen this one right here. I haven't chosen one of the epistles that I have learned because I didn't want to come across polished. I wanted to come across, I want to, I have not overly worked on this. Enough where I've gone through the steps that I'm going to give you. But when I actually tell this right here for you, I'll stumble through it. And you'll see that I'm stumbling through it because I haven't taken the time to learn it purposely. Because that's where I want you to be. So the first thing you do is you title each one of the, each section with one or two words. So I chose, in this one right here, I have chose shocked. So that'll be my heading for this section, shocked. I chose a word that would be close to the beginning of the section so that I don't choose something that's near the end because I want to be reminded at the beginning. And once I have, now I've gone through the whole 5 and I've done the title for each of those, which is interesting. Those changed when I went around and did the other points, but that's okay. So now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to highlight 3 or 4 key words that remind you of what is in that section. So the ones I chose, and you might choose something different, I chose turned away. I was shocked that you turned away from the grace of God. False teachers told you you had to keep Jewish law, be completely saved. And you believe them. How can you be so foolish? Accept this other gospel. Then I just underline, I have chosen 3, but then I have a 4th one where I just kind of put that in to kind of go along with so foolish and other gospel. And this is just the way I'm doing it. So now with the second section, I gave that one the title of pure gospel. I then chose 2 or 3, 3 or 4. I chose angel. I chose perfectly clear and heresy. Are you following me around here? Then the next section, I have understand. Believe me, I understand what they're teaching. And the words, Jewish tradition, churches of Christ, churches of God, called me, and then I called me and instructed me. So called me and instructed. So those kind of go together. I'm going through kind of fast, so but you'll see it. The next section is Antioch, and I chose try to enslave, didn't tolerate, to Jerusalem, Gentiles. I'm called to the Gentiles. Last section, Peter. Okay, and I then chose discuss this. We discussed it. He ate freely, separated himself. I told Peter. Now this right here, this is actually a story. I mean, so he's telling a story inside a story. So this is probably about the easiest section. So do you see what I've done there? I'll be asking you to do the same thing. So just so you understand. Any questions about what I've done here? I mean, if you prepared a cheat sheet in your life, you know how this goes. My wife told me when she was helping me get through college, she says, John, it's all right to make a cheat sheet as long as you don't take it in the class with you. You form it down, get a cheat sheet, and then just memorize that. And then you can take a cheat sheet in your brain. You just can't take it on your hand. So the same thing here, except we'll allow you to take the cheat sheet with you. You'll actually have it. So this will help you if you want to learn the story. You can do it this way, and I will talk about that in a little bit. So create an outline with the titles. So here it is. There's my outline. Now I'm going to stumble through it, and you'll see. So I'll use this right here. I was shocked that you turned away from the grace of God. Some false teachers came to you, teaching you that you weren't completely saved if you didn't follow Jewish laws. how could you be so foolish to accept this other gospel? I gave you the pure gospel. And if even an angel comes from heaven and tells you something different, that angel's cursed. You heard me right. To be perfectly clear, anyone who teaches us heresy is cursed. Now understand, I love Jewish tradition, so much so that I persecuted the churches of God. But then Christ saved me and called me to preach to the Gentile, and he instructed me for 3 years in Arabia. Know this, that these same teachers came to Antioch and tried to enslave the believers there, but I didn't tolerate it, not for a moment. Finally, they sent Barnabas and me to Jerusalem to talk to the apostles about that. And they recognized that I'm called to the Gentiles just like Peter is called to the Jews. Peter and I discussed this, and he even came to Antioch and ate freely with the Gentiles until some Jews came from Jerusalem, and then he separated himself, and even some other Jews went along with him. Even Barnabas was a part of this hypocrisy. And I told, how would I say, I told Peter right to his face in front of everybody that wasn't right. Now, is that how I'll do it? If I was doing this, is that how I would do it over there? No, I'd hope I have it a whole lot better than that. I was just reading it off the script. But you see, you got the story. I mean, even that, you were able to follow along with me. And so this is an illustration. Any questions about, by the way, when you go there, you don't take your script, you only take your notes. You only stand up with your notes. Besides,
You notice that you're not telling the story to the scripture. You're telling the story from the scripture. You're pulling out these key points from the words
Yeah.
themselves that are on the crafted story.
that's right. That's right.
Which makes it more authentic.
Now, so that's what I want you to do. I want you to take your one and we have that now. I know we asked all of you to bring your own stories here, and I hope you did. But for your epistle, we have printed some up. By the way, this is an example. This is what I did in preparation. I took the story and I put those sections in. Now I did this, and then with pencil, I wrote in the titles, and then I did all the circling. And when I did all the circling, then on the other side of the page, I put the outline. Now you don't want to take this with you to Turkey and Greece, but you just want to take this part right here. But so then what I'm going to have you do is that we have given you your epistle off to the side, just like this, so that you have room over here to write your outline. And then, so when it comes time for you to practice what you work, you'll simply do this. You'll simply fold it like this, and you don't turn over the page. And you just simply, no peeking, because it's stumbling through. And if you peek, you won't stumble. Okay, so you got to be able to stumble. Okay, so that's what we'll do. So we'll hand out. Do you want them to come and get their own? If you'll come up and get the one that, if you have been assigned an epistle, come up and get yours. The three of you that don't, wait until everyone else has gotten theirs, and then you come take one that is left over. Okay, right now.
John, I got a question.
Yes.
So I have life with and without Christ, and it says part 1 of 5. So there's 5 different parts of this. Is that correct?
That's right. Good.
Okay,
Yes. And you're only doing one of the 5.
right. I think it's the first one,
Oh.
but this is one of the epistles, right?
What's the title again?
With life with and without Christ from Romans.
Yes, Yes, that's one of the epistles. So
Okay.
select one of them, either the one in Corinthians or the one in Romans. And then,
So these are different than what's in the stories of the Bible, in the book. These don't match. You redid them. These are different. These are the ones you want us to learn.
okay, they're in this book right here.
Well, the book that we were suggested to buy online is the book that Sally has.
Is
Oh, no,
Sally
you don't
there?
want that. Yeah,
Different from this.
yeah.
Is that
She did the
Sally
same thing you did.
and
Yeah.
Jenny? That's-
No, no, no.
Hi,
no.
I'm so glad to see you.
I did the same thing.
Jenny and I picked lemons off a tree in Israel, and Sally told her story in Japanese on the boat.
Okay.
I'm so glad to see you.
Yes,
That we're
yeah,
to learn.
because other people are learning the other parts of it.
From that book.
Right, you do not want to use that book.
Oh, I did that.
Okay, I just.
Okay.
There's another one, Ken.
So, yeah, Kim, I did the same thing. These both are mine, right?
Okay, yeah, just take one up for right now.
It takes you to that book. Okay.
Husband and wife.
Yeah, well,
Okay, those of you who,
I printed off, because I printed them from the attachments that I included with the email.
Go ahead.
Print them out. So I have these, but I was just noticing that these are different
so what are the ones
than
you
the
have?
ones that Sally has in her book.
Right. Did you get everything? Oh, no, those are not, those are not in the book of business. Those are the book of Revelation.
This thing is out on the well.
They be the same.
So,
I don't know which one.
That's this.
so you don't have it in epistle.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We're not sure.
Okay, so I had the wrong book number one.
No, yeah, it's a epistle.
I think
Roger?
that was from the 2017, yeah.
They have the seven churches. It's not the epistle. So. Okay, you can come and pick out yours. Yeah, you can come up and pick yours. No. Okay. Yeah. Ours are all from Okay, now does everyone have
Oh, I need it.
an epistle from over here? Now, obviously, if that's not what you've already been assigned, then, you won't be telling it over there. So this is just an exercise. This is a learning exercise, which will help you as you learn your stories. I mean, it still will, except that you can still be a part of this particular exercise. So the first thing you do is you will divide it into smaller sections. Now you see they're already in paragraphs, but that's actually from just a writing thing. So you may not want to stick with the paragraph divisions like we have right there. You might want to have a little bit different. And then so draw the lines and then title each of the sections and then start circling keywords under each section. And Roger and I will be here to answer any questions that you have.
Who has Romans part 3? With and without Christ 3. Anybody pick that one up?
I can do that.
Rick is actually assigned a till now, so why don't we give that to
Okay,
him?
we'll give this to Rick. I described one. It doesn't matter to me. I don't have one. Ooh, you gave me a really long one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that'll teach you to pick this one.
That's fine. That's fine. Because I didn't take any of mine. Mine are all from Acts. Although
Okay.
Acts 27 by itself. It's a little long, but that's okay.
you do the reading option and do it 40 times and all the things you said, will it eventually just naturally turn into the memorized option?
More than likely.
Okay,
What we've had is when people have done this, they will still have their cheat sheet with them. They will still have it in their hand. And they'll glance at it maybe twice. And that's good. But it's there for those 2 times. It's
And if
kind of a security blanket.
if mine says part 1 of 5, that means 5 people will be telling parts of this story.
That's right.
Okay,
And it'll just be one right after the other.
yeah, I'm part 1.
Boy. Okay. Now, as I kind of look over your notes, you probably have written too many notes. So as you go along, as you start using this and you need to start reducing the words that you have. You'll be surprised. You won't necessarily need. I did the same thing when I was doing mine. I circled a big section that had maybe 5 words in it. I realized, well, actually, if I just had one of those words, I'll remember the others, I mean, like, for instance, I have the one that says, call. Well, I know that Christ saved me and he called me to preach to the Gentiles. I didn't need to write all that. Call. I got it instructed. Well, 3 years in Arabia. Okay, I think I got that. Instructed. So you need to boil it down, not right now, but you need to boil it down in time so that if you actually use this method, that you get as few words. Because what's happening when you're up in front and you're telling it, you don't have to get stuck reading and try to get it all in. You want to be able to glance down and see the word and then look back up again. You see what I'm saying? Okay, now the hardest part of the whole thing is I want you to divide up someone that you are not related to or know extremely well, and I want you to move to different parts of the room, and you fold your paper like this right here so that you get rid of the print part and you only have the outline. Now remember, this is stumbling through. You will really stumble through. So that's okay. Don't look back. When both of you have gone through it, then at that point, both of you then can turn it over and read it one more time. And I'm going to switch you around and you'll do it a second time. Okay, everyone. So who's going to be Kim's partner? And you may want to take this and get it closer, whoever maybe. Well, then that's gonna leave us.
Am I the
Okay.
only one on
I-
Zoom? Am I the only one? on
Yeah,
Zoom?
you're the one on Zoom, so Roger is gonna be your partner,
Okay,
and then the rest of us will split up. So have you chosen your partner yet? Okay, take your partner. We have just a few minutes before our break. And so just open it up for time for discussion, questions. And say after the break, we will be talking a little bit more about the trip. But at this point, it's just, we just have a few minutes about this procedure. Did you find this helpful?
Yeah, sure.
Practice.
If I want to practice to be in the future, so I got Zoom, so let me know, we'll set up a 40-minute Zoom. We can go home.
Sure, yeah, good. Well, I guess you could count that as 2 of your 40.
Good to go.
You only have 38 to go,
We all have
but it doesn't count as your 5. You still need 5 other people outside of the classroom.
I find, used to practice in front of me. Oh, we all have video. games.
Yeah.
You could sit up there. Video lab. Have the camera watch you tell your story.
It still doesn't count as your 5.
Watch the camera. It doesn't lie. And then you
That's
get
right.
feedback. It's hard to improve your delivery. And you can always erase when you.
Any questions? That's a very good, suggestion. In this day and age of having cameras and on our phones, we can film ourselves, do a selfie of you reading your story. Any other questions or comments?
Before we start. Maybe we start. Practice.
Okay, well, let's, no other questions. We'll take a break. Be back together at 10:45. I trust you can take what you got this morning. That will launch you into learning a lot less of the story than what you thought you had to learn. That's true. But also I hope it launches you into being able to get your 40 times in. And we're going to tell you why that's so important here in just a second. There are three principles to understand as you're going on this trip, as you work with this. And I guess I need to be closer over here. To understand the power of a Bible story simply told. We're going to emphasize that to you, the fact that don't embellish the story, and but to just let the story itself, the scripture, whether it's written or told, the power of the scripture is in the scripture. That's what I'm trying to say. The power is in the scripture. It's not what we say about it. It's not what we write about it. Those things are okay. It's okay to write about what the scripture says, to talk about it, to give it application. Those things in a regular type of church situation, that's fine. But I think there's not a pastor anywhere that would say that what he says about the scripture is more powerful than the scripture. The scripture itself is where the power is at. And so our goal is to present the Bible story in its simplest form, and let the scripture produce its own results. The next thing is it's necessary to tell the story poorly until it can be told well. You know, I've often said if you're going to go into woodworking, you got to destroy a lot of wood. You just don't pick up your tools the very first time and just make a beautiful piece of furniture. No, you really cut up, you cut things the wrong way and you nail it the wrong place. You have to throw that piece away and this one breaks and it's just there's so much. And so it is when developing the skill of storytelling, you have to do it poorly a lot. And this is important. It's necessary to tell the story poorly until it can be told well. This point right here is what takes the process and makes it easy or makes it hard. If you say that learning the story is hard, that means you're not willing to tell it poorly. And that means you're trying to tell it perfect. And it's hard to do it that way. Let me just say it again. This one point right here is the difference between the process being easy or the process being hard. We'll be taking you through your story here in a few minutes, and we're going to just push you right into telling it poorly, just like we did on the last session. We'll push you right into it, and you'll tell it poorly, and you won't like the idea, but you'll do it. And something just happened. You're now heading down the road, telling it well, and they will push you in again, and you'll tell it not nearly as poorly the second time. I have found the easiest way to learn a story is just start telling it poorly to everyone I can. After a while, it kind of gets pretty good, and that's key. Then the third thing, it's important to experience telling it to other people 5 times. This is the adrenaline that we're talking about. It's so important to experience the telling of it five times, whether you're reading it, whether you're telling it. This you have to have this. So you can. I've been taking people to Israel for years. I have a lot of groups going there, and I've watched different people telling. And you can just immediately, at least I can, tell if a person hasn't told it 5 times. It just sticks right out there. It's just boom. They have not done this. They thought they could stand in front of the mirror. They thought they could just stand in front of the mirror and that would be fine. But as soon as they stood right there in front of the group and the adrenaline hit, they started messing up, even though they thought they had it down pretty good, but they had not experienced that adrenaline. And I tell you, adrenaline's a wonderful thing. In my book, The Art of Storytelling, I call it as one of the tools of storytelling. It is a gift from God. It helps you prepare better. It makes you do a better job. Literally, adrenaline makes it so you become pain-free while you're telling the story. I mean, I've heard people say that they were walking towards the pulpit, and they got aches here and aches there, and they had to limp, and they had all these pains, and they kind of hobbled up on the platform, and they reached over there, and as soon as they started, they were jumping around and kneeling down and talking and waving back and forth, painless. And as soon as the sermon was done, there it was again. It's a gift. It helps you. It makes it so much easier. But if you're not ready for it, it will throw you off. Now, with this point right here, this is the assignment. Schedule your 5 tellings or your 5 readings first thing before you go any farther. After this meeting, first thing you need to do after you're done here, schedule your 5 people. That's a principle. That principle has helped me get a whole lot more done than I would normally do. Most people, I'll schedule, as a matter of fact, I will schedule a meeting. I will schedule a training like this one. or many other places, I will schedule it first and then I'll prepare. Most people prepare, and when they feel they're prepared enough, they will schedule the meeting. Not the way to do it. Schedule first. What that does, that brings the urgency. It brings the resolve to get it done. And that's, if you schedule your 5 tellings or your 5 readings, you will do the homework. You will do those 9 times or whatever it's taking to get ready. And then you will read it. And then you know the next one's already scheduled for 2 weeks or a week later. And you will do that. And then you'll do the next one. Schedule your 5 readings and tellings.
I had a fellow that was a professional baseball player. I can't remember his name right now, but he played for Major League. He would say that practice does not make perfect. Practice makes consistent.
Yeah.
You can see the guy while they go to the batting cage to make sure they can be consistent in their hitting. That's what he used to tell his trainees.
Remember IEA? Does anyone know what that stands for in the government realms?
Yeah.
It's the International Energy Association. But here it is, don't introduce the story. Just get up and tell it. Don't introduce it. Even if your script that you have in the book has an introduction, I will do that. I will make sure that I have all the introductions for all the epistles, and I will give that. When it's your turn to tell or read, simply stand up, don't introduce it, start at the very first words of the story. That's it. And I'll explain why, but one reason why I'll say right now is that we have a lot of ground to cover. We have all these stories. We were basically telling the entire book of Acts from when Paul is introduced to the end of the book, and we're doing the epistles, plus we're doing a few other things, and we have all the Caesars to get through. We've got all the Roman customs and times to get through, and we have so much to get done that we want to get done. And so, if you take a long time introducing yourself or introducing the story, it just cuts down. And since everybody on the trip will know this is a rule, they will sit there and say, he's introducing it or she's introducing it. He isn't supposed to be doing that. He isn't supposed to be doing that. I mean, that's what they're thinking. They're not hearing a word you're saying. They're saying, yeah, you're not supposed to be doing that. And as soon as you're done, I won't do it right there. As soon as you're done, I will find a time to walk up to you and talk to you about it. Say, don't do that again. If you do it a second time, I'll stop you in the midst of the telling and say, stop introducing it, just tell the story. I won't do that first time. I won't embarrass you the first time. I'll just talk to you later. Second time, it's fair game. I told you, and you're ignoring me, I'll stop the story and just tell you, don't get mad at me because I told you way in advance. Don't introduce it. Don't explain it. We will just let the story, just like I was saying a few minutes, the power is in the story. Let the story, there's a place to explain scripture. Absolutely. This is not one of them. This is not the place. This right here is simply, we want to hear the story. And then right along with that, don't apply it. This is not a preaching time. We, when my very first Bible telling class years ago, a church had me, said, well, if you want to experiment, come here. It's a church about 45 minutes away. So every Sunday I would drive over there for their Sunday school to their adult class. And we just made it a rule, no preaching. And so every time someone would start to give the application, you could hear everyone saying, no preaching. And the person would smile and pipe down and just tell the story. And so don't remember that, the IEA. Don't introduce it, don't explain it, don't apply it. When we're done, when we're in Rome, and we're at that last restaurant, special place, we're all sitting around and we're talking about Turkey, and we're talking about Greece, and we're talking about Rome, we'll be seeing truly what I call the severe puzzle. Sphere puzzle. It's a puzzle that's not flat, it's sphere. And what you have is all put together. And the background, the customs, the times, the Caesars, the epistles, the stories, all the stuff, it'll all fit together. If any one person shines, it ruins the sphere. We don't want you to shine. We want you to fit the sphere. Fit the whole. So when we're all done, we're going to be amazed. You'll just be amazed, your understanding of that section of scripture, the book of Acts. And this is key. This is what we're after. I'm not going to, when I do my part, I'm just going to do it as plain as I can and as simple. I know I'm a professional storyteller. I'm not going to kick in my profession there. I'm just going to tell things straight, and because I don't want any of us to just rise to the top and shine above everybody else. We want everyone to fit into Severe, so that when we're all done, we will be amazed not at individuals, but at what we understand about the whole picture. Any thoughts or questions? Roger, you have going good. Did you want to add something?
What happens when we go to Israel? That last day or so, we begin to see the pattern and how all this were
See the whole thing.
a piece of the puzzle, but not the shining piece of the puzzle.
Now,
That distracts from the puzzle.
okay, well, we've got we need to learn a story.